Hey everyone, Mitch coming in for the Camaro Score Studio. Welcome to the show. So, on a recent episode, I talked about a deck that just keeps on winning for me, and surprisingly so I thought it'd be kind of fun to do the exact opposite. A deck that just keeps on losing for me has never won a game, actually, and I hope it wins eventually, but that kind of, also brings on the conversation of when do you actually give up on a deck, but that's an episode for a different day. On this episode, though, again, we're talking about that deck that has never won for me, and we might talk about, well, why? Why has this deck never won for me? Comment below. Just kidding, but I mean, seriously, comment below and let me know what your thoughts are on this. Yeah, and if you've got any other decks that you absolutely love that you've never won with either, and you'd like to win, well, let me know what those are. But yeah, this deck is actually my Captain Sensei deck. Sorry, Sensei Weatherlight Captain deck. There we go. A 2/2 human soldier for 2 and a white that gets +1/+1 for each color among other legendary permanents you control. By paying Wooburg, you search your library for a legendary permanent card. Convert mana cost less than Sensei's power. You get it right on the battlefield, then you shuffle your library. Now, my Sensei deck is a little off the wall and potentially different than other Sensei decks. Regardless, kind of the difference between this commander, and again, if you've seen my most recent episode about my one that keeps winning, well, Sensei is actually a pretty decent threat. This is a 5-color commander that usually is built legendary tribal, and that can be an incredibly powerful thing. This is a commander that can become a 7/7 quite easily by getting, one of each, other color, or one of each color among other legendary permanents you control. That's kind of hard to say, I don't know why. Anyways, and also can just start tutoring out incredibly powerful legendary permanents. So yeah, Sensei can definitely be seen as a threat even before the game actually starts. So yeah, definitely a pretty threatening commander, and one that, again, opponents might just have it out for you before the game even begins. So I mean, that would be, the thought process, if this was a normal Sensei deck, where it's a bunch of really powerful legends. Mine, though, is built around Lich's Mastery, which is a legendary enchantment with hexproof that costs 3 black, says you can't lose the game. Whenever you gain life, draw that many cards. Whenever you lose life, for each 1 life you lost, exile a permanent you control or card from your hand or graveyard. When Lich's Mastery leaves the battlefield, you lose the game. Yeah, I just kind of thought, I want to build a really off-the-wall deck. I want to build one that cares about Lich's Mastery, that wants to win with Lich's Mastery because it's a really weird card. And yeah, Sensei is how I went about that, because this is a legendary enchantment that you can tutor out with Sensei if you get to Sensei up to, 7 power. So yeah, basically a very weird, strange card. The main thing I like to focus on with this is whenever you gain life, draw that many cards. So the entire goal of this deck is basically getting to the point where we can draw an absurd amount of cards, potentially our entire deck with this. Yeah, by just taking advantage of that portion. Also taking advantage of the fact that we can't lose the game. So even if we draw our entire deck, we don't lose. If we mill ourselves, we don't lose. It's just, that's just how this works. And also, this is kind of protected. Again, hexproof, hard to deal with. Obviously, a mass, enchantment removal spell, austere command could, take you out. And that's the risk you're willing to take if you're building around a card like this. But yeah, basically the entire deck is built around this. And I will say that I definitely have gotten Lich's Mastery out. It's just never all clicked, where it finally, just wins me the game, because, it does take a while to actually kind of get set up with a deck like this. Let's talk about some more pieces of the setup. Actually, again, there are going to be legendary enchantments or legendary, creatures in this deck because, well, again, we do want to increase Sensei's power, so a card like Sanctum of All is incredible, and there are shrines in this deck. There are other shrines in the deck, the budget shrines, because, yeah, you can get a good amount of value out of them throughout the game, and also, then your opponents might see this more as a shrines deck with Sensei, like, oh, okay, that's their plan. So trying to throw them off your plan, but also not, going all in on, incredibly powerful legendary permanents, is the direction I initially thought for this, because yeah, I want to throw my opponents off, not let them know this is a Lich's Mastery deck, which they would never guess anyways, but also I don't want to be too threatening, though again, Sensei just might seem threatening. Anyways, what Sanctum All does, at the beginning of your upkeep, you may search your library and or graveyard for a shrine card on the battlefield. If you search your library this way, shuffle it. If an ability or of another shrine you control triggers, while you control 6 or more shrines, put the triggers additional time. So yeah, again, this can get you more and more value. You can go tutor for shrines, you can get them back out of your graveyard. And yeah, I mean, that's what your opponents might think is going on until you eventually do something else. But yeah, again, just with this in play, this pumps Sensei +5/+5 and allows you to go get Lich's Mastery. That being said, of course, there are other legendary other legendary permanents that can help you out too. One is an equipment of Blackblade Reforged. Equip creature gets +1 for each land you control. Yeah, I mean, that's very easy to get Sensei up to 7 power with this, so we can essentially tutor out whatever we need again. And that would be Lich's Mastery most of the time. We also have other things that we want to tutor out if, say, we already have that out. Regardless, yeah, a great piece of equipment that we can get out very early and help us out with that. Now, the other cards in this deck that I absolutely love, and I always wanted to build a deck around, Zombie Infestation, Ailu's Influence. I love these free discard outlets. Zombie Infestation, discard 2 cards, you get a 2/2 black zombie creature token. Ailu's Influence, discard a land card, you get a 2/2 bear token. Now, how do these work with Lich's Mastery? Well, we need some other pieces to figure this out. But yeah, these essentially, again, can take advantage of us potentially being able to draw our entire deck. And they can actually be, you know, the engine that helps us get there. Because we're also going to be using cards like Confessor and Soul Warden. Now, you might say, what in the world is Confessor? I've never seen that card. Yeah, and that was the reaction I got the other day when I played this. Because, well, Confessor is, whenever a player discards a card from their hand, you may gain 1 life. Not really a card that you see all that much play. I think I looked up, it was like 200 decks or so on EDH Rec, but yeah, basically a card that sees play nowhere, and I absolutely love when you can utilize those kinds of cards, because this is perfect for this kind of a deck. Again, if you're utilizing, again, either Zombie Infestation or Ailu's Influence, and you keep discarding cards, you're gaining life, and again, that's going to trigger your Lich's Mastery. Again, here's the engine. This is where you get things set up, right? You're going to be drawing basically your entire deck when you're doing this, because you're going to be gaining life, drawing cards, discarding cards, gaining life, making creatures, and yeah, where creatures come in as well as with Soul Warden. When another creature in his battlefield, you gain 1 life. So yeah, basically kind of same thing. Gaining life by getting those creatures into play, discarding to make creatures, drawing cards, and yeah, there's plenty of these kind of gain life whenever you know, either, you know, discard, at least with Confessor, or more likely, get creatures in play like the Soul Warden. You can actually just, you know, draw your entire deck once you get set up properly. And of course, you know, these also have other applications as well, you know, padding your life total throughout the game. Confessor actually saved me from losing the game the other day. There was a combo where a player was discarding a ton of cards and you know, basically just destroyed all the other players. And I was just sitting there like, well, I've got Confessor in play, so at least I survive for now. But yeah, these can help pad your life total throughout the game. It can be very helpful. Also, there are certain cards that do basically combo with Lich's Mastery. Feast of Sanity, whenever you discard a card, Feast of Sanity deals 1 damage to any target, you gain 1 life. Again, in combination with Zombie Infestation, or Ailu's Influence, essentially, you can go basically infinite with this. I mean, basically for the, you know, the amount of cards in your library, discarding cards, pinging, you know, your opponents, gaining life, and yeah, you've got things like Elixir of Mortality to actually, you know, get those cards back, essentially, in your deck and do it again. But yeah, this actually can combo, actually, kind of ironically, if you have, well, no maximum hand size, which you're not going to with this stack, and also if you have 8 cards in your hand when you go to your discard phase, because you discard a card, right? You got to go down to 7, so you discard that card. This triggers, you ping an opponent for 1, you gain 1 life, Lich's Mastery draws you a card. You're still, you know, above your maximum hand size, so you're at 8, so you have to do it again, and again, and again. So in a weird way, again, just based on the Magic rules, this can just combo with Lich's Mastery and just win you the game. Now, I unfortunately have not gotten this out with Lich's Mastery. Still looking forward to it when I can do that, though. Horizon Camaro, another weird way to actually combo with Lich's Mastery. This one won't win you the game, but it will draw you your deck. Whenever you draw a card, you gain 1 life. Again, Lich's Mastery is like, hey, if you gain a life, you draw a card. So both do the exact opposite of each other, and you can essentially just draw your deck, you know, by either gaining 1 life or just drawing a singular card with both of those in play. Speaking of which, again, Sensei cares about legendary creatures. Cool. You can go, you know, tutor for legendary creatures like, you know, Shabraz. Hey, whenever you draw a card, get a counter on Shabraz, gain 1 life. So yeah, again, hey, you know, whenever you draw a card, you gain a life. Again, Lich's Mastery, whenever you gain a life, draw a card. Both do the exact opposite, essentially, and yeah, they combo together, get, you know, not an infinitely big Shabraz, but basically based on the number of cards in your library, and then, of course, you know, draw your entire deck. Speaking of which, Brawlin Skyshark Rider, this one is kind of the other end of things. Whenever you discard a card, you get a counter on Brawlin, and it deals 1 damage to each opponent. So again, while you're discarding those cards with Zombie Infestation or whatnot, you can ping all your opponents down. And yeah, since these partner together, when you get one, you get the other, which is absolutely fantastic. Another legendary creature that can combo with, you know, your final kind of iteration of, you know, your combo. Once you get Lich's Mastery out, once you get a way to gain life out, Dina Soul Steeper, whenever you gain life, each opponent loses 1 life. So yeah, if you've got ways to essentially keep gaining that life again and again and again, you're gonna be draining your opponents out. Having these effects on legendary creatures really helps because, again, Sensei can tutor for them. So yeah, you can kind of, yeah, before your turn, maybe tutor out, you know, your Lich's Mastery. During your turn, you know, maybe set yourself up with the Zombie Infestation or whatever else you need. Then tutor out, you know, again, your Dina or whatever else you need to win with that combo. But yeah, this deck again is one that I was super excited about. I'm still excited about. Just because decks don't win don't mean that I'm not excited about them. I'm really excited to actually see when this deck finally wins. Hopefully it happens. But yeah, I think it's just interesting to think about, the different factors that come into play when it comes to decks winning or not. And kind of something I talked about in the last episode with that other deck that just surprisingly wins a lot is, again, not trying to seem like a big threat sometimes, and not putting a target in your back can maybe be the most beneficial thing, where just even playing a certain commander might just kind of get this perception in your opponent's mind, whether it's accurate or not, that that player is a huge threat. Because, again, maybe they played against other Sensei decks that are like, yeah, I'm going to get out all these, giant legendary creatures or, giant legendary permanents that are incredibly powerful. I'm going to take you out. They probably don't expect that you're playing a Lich's Mastery deck, which you don't want them to expect that because you kind of want, that to come out at the end. But also, yeah, it's just you might kind of be setting yourself up, to, again, be a target when you pick a certain commander. And with this one, kind of unintentionally, yeah, I kind of became a bigger target than I wanted to be. And maybe I'll have to change up the commander for this one, essentially. Maybe try a different way to kind of get this Lich's Mastery deck to work. But yeah, let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are. Do you have any decks that you're actually surprised that haven't won yet? Or decks that maybe your opponents, might just see you as a bigger threat than you are because you're playing a certain type of commander. So yeah, let me know what your experiences are. Let me know in the comments below. And of course, as always, thanks again and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. We also have a ton of brand new t-shirt designs in stock, so make sure you check out those as well. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG Player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.